Choice here. Thank you so very much for joining me again for another session of Choice Spirit. Thank you. Hey, today I want to speak a little bit about intimate relationships, sexual intimate relationships. Into me you see intimacy. Into me you see intimacy. Okay? Your seed. And it goes both ways. Both ways. Let me tell you, for both men and women. I'm not speaking of the ones in a committed relationship that is in that relationship and is honoring the relationship according to the agreement of the relationship. I say it that way, according to the agreement of the relationship. Because not everyone calls cheating. And not all people have the same agreements, spoken and unspoken. You see. So, with that said, I'll go into that maybe another video, but briefly, we call folks, remember we call people into our experience. We call, and based on how we're vibing are the people that we bring into our lives with whatever their inner arguments and conflicts are. We call them in. Somehow we're having that experience because all relationships are spiritual. Okay, so I'm not going into that right just yet. So, because that is something that is usually dealt with and felt when people are in committed relationships. They commit, they marry or whatever, and then there's this internal stuff that's going on both sides. And so that is, you have the human perspective and you have the spiritual perspective and everything that goes down in that. And so we think that we did not call that into our experience when in fact we did call that into our experience. But yet we have no control. We don't have any control over anyone. We don't have any control over anyone. And it's not about forcing our will on anyone. So somewhere we manage to have these unspoken agreements that we are unaware that we agreed to. So, story for another video. But anyway, I'm going into the intimate relationships where the sexual, not just intimate, as in intimacy, I'm talking about sexual intimacy, if you will. Most often, reasons. Not all people are attracted to all people. Not all people are attracted to all people. Just because it's a female doesn't mean that you're into it, and just because it's a male doesn't mean that you're into it. We have internal senses that where we sense out. We can sniff out what we might want, unless we're in one of those horny states where we just take anything we can get. And that happens most often. So let's speak on that. When we do that, we are offering up our bodies, our mind, to engage in a sexual experience with the all of that energy, with energy. Yeah, you see a human being, you see a person in the face, but it's energy. And most often, we don't know about that energy. The nature of the energy that we lay with, that we engage with, that we offer up ourselves to. We also don't know the intention of that houses the energy. Of course, the intention is to get sex, to have sex. But it's more than that. It's more than that. So when we mingle and entangle ourselves with other energy, remnants, if not whole portions of that energy ends up hanging with us for a while. It ends up becoming a part of us. There was some exchange of DNA. There was an exchange of some energy. So when you get up and walk away, you are now housing, literally, energy from that person. Now, men think they get off light, and I'm not saying this, I'm not picking on men, because women too. Women think they can do the same thing. But I say men because men is it's stereotype that men sleep with everybody, you know? So based on that stereotype, and that being what the belief is, the predominant belief is, I'll use that as an example. Forgive me, men. I so don't mean this. Because I know that I'm sure that there are many of you that don't just lay with anyone. And the same goes for women. But with men, they feel, not they all, but you get my drift, feel that they can go in and out of all of these different energies and believe they're not affected. And then when their life is doing all kinds of crazy stuff, when they're having all kinds of emotional issues, unexpressed emotional issues, when they're having these things that has, how can I say, it's taking their toll. They're never related to the long list or the short list of different energies that they may have indulged in. Same goes for women. A lot of what people are carrying around is not of their own. It's not really their own stuff. It's stuff they picked up along the way. And then they're trying to walk around with extra weight that they didn't have the experience of gathering. Actually, they did not have the actual experience, but they're carrying the weight of the actual experience. Another thing is when people are thinking during this intercourse, they're injecting stuff both ways. So just food for thought. think twice. All things that look good may not be the best meal for you. It just may not be the best meal for you, the most healthy choice. Because there's a spiritual side of all things, because it's all spiritual. So it makes sense to consider some of the other side. I'm just saying. Just a suggestion. I know I can keep my 2 cents. I get it. I got it. I'm just sharing. Peace. Namaste. Much love.